Welcome to Triple Mystery Reveal. This is a mystery package of 45 records, and we have got a mystery guest. He learned the craft at his father's side, stepping in to keep records spinning and the party moving whenever the senior DJ, needed to take a break. A 2004 graduate of the Connecticut School of Broadcasting, he cut his teeth interning at the legendary WOGL. That's Oldies 98. That's in Philadelphia. He's a veteran of both the airwaves and digital platforms. He's dominated the midday slot at Pop Radio 77, hosting the station's highest rated weekend program. Welcome, Ryan Doran.
Hi, Phil. How are you?
I'm good and I'm excited. And in case you're wondering, here's what was inside or that package. These are the 45s, the stack of blacks, so to speak, that we're going to go through on, and we're looking for gold. Every one of these is from the 60s, so we know they're old. Ryan, you're charged with selecting those that earn the label of gold. You are the sole judge and jury. Our first one is off of the Collectibles record label. Game of Love is on one side. A Groovy Kind of Love is on the other. It is the Mindbenders. What do you think? What do you think of that one?
I would say that's gold.
That's gold. Yeah, A Groovy Kind of Love. Now, the Game of Love, they didn't do the Game of Love originally, did they? Do you know?
I think they covered it.
We got our first gold. Score is 1 gold, 0 for old. This has got a number on it, a handwritten number, which makes me wonder if at some point it was in a jukebox. 2 songs I'm familiar with. I Know a Place on one side, Downtown on the other. It is Petula.
That's got to be gold.
Yeah, how can it be anyone but her? Petula Clark. What do you think?
Definitely gold.
Definitely gold. 2 for 2. Wow. Here's our third one. It's off of the Music Core record labels. I know it's an old one because it's pretty well beat up. It's by Gene Pitney. On one side, we've got Lonely Night Dreams. On the other side, 24 Hours from Tulsa.
Okay, I'm familiar with the B-side.
Okay.
So I would say the B-side, I wouldn't say it's gold. I'd put it in the middle.
We'll temporarily put it in the old for now, because I have this rule, when in doubt, we leave it out.
Okay, makes sense.
If you change your mind, you let me know. Okay, that's 3 down. It's 2-1. Oh, we got another Gene Pitney here. Music Core record label again. Last Chance to Turn Around on one side and Save Your Love.
I would say old.
I'm trying to think, what was his hit record?
It Hurts to Be in Love.
It Hurts to Be in Love. And didn't he have, is it Liberty Valance or something like that? Was that
the man who shot Liberty Valance that they were supposed to use as the soundtrack for the movie, and then they decided not to, and he released it anyway.
Oh, really?
Yep.
That's the kind of insight you're going to get throughout this episode. MGM, big time record label. It's Oh No on one side, and If You Were Here on the other. It is Ray Peterson.
I'd say old.
Yeah. Have you heard of him?
I've heard of Tell Laura I Love Her, which was probably his biggest hit.
Really? Okay. Yeah. Okay. I have heard of that one. By the way, every one of these records, and this mystery package, I got from Viking Records. A buddy of mine and his wife own and operate it. I paid $4.99 for the entire package, and the link, it can be found right down here. Okay, I don't know how many of these episodes of these I've done, Ryan. This individual has shown up in more packs than anybody. It's off the Memory Lane record label, so it might be a reissue. I'm guessing based upon the title it is Blue on Blue on one side, Blue Velvet on the other. It's Bobby Vinton.
Gold.
Gold. He was early 60s.
Yeah, early 60s, had a few in the early 70s, then kind of just faded out.
Well, I know one thing. He's made a lot of appearances in this series. We got 3. This is off of the MGM Special Disc Jockey record. Hey,
Nice.
not for sale, Ryan. Do not sell this. Children of the Sun on one side, Happy Feeling on the other. It's Jerry Michaels.
Old.
Is it Reprise or Reprise Records? What's the?
I say Reprise.
I can never figure it out. Oh boy. Kenny Rogers in the first edition. Sunshine on one side, Ruben James on the other.
I'd go old. Yeah.
I forgot he was with the first edition, was off of Capitol Records. If my heart had windows, Someone Else's Arms, Andy Russell.
Old. I've never even heard of him.
Yeah. I'm just curious if there's any other names on there worth talking about, and there are not. All right. This just seems old to me. Oh yeah. Yeah. This is definitely old. This is off of Vista Records. And on one side it is Johnny Ringo or Bingo, one of the two. Label's pretty faded. Or Jeepers Creepers. We're talking early 60s. Hayley Mills?
Yeah, that is definitely old.
Put it in the old pile, gold pile,
Yeah.
the old pile. All right. Hey, viewers, you can see the passion that Ryan's got for this music. It's the same energy he's using to fight his current battle with cancer. If you're feeling the vibe and would like to support Ryan, please check out the link. We've got the link to his GoFundMe page. Show some love and support for Ryan. This is off of Mohawk Records. That's a new label for me. Not
me too.
Not for sale. By the way, it is by an artist by the name of Kate Chandler. Sentimental Banjo on one side, G.I. Johnny Don't Go Home on the other, and it's got X's, as you can see on the one side. Are you familiar with either the artist or either track?
No, I've never heard of either of them.
I haven't either. So we got another one for old. We're looking for some gold, man. We're going to do some prospecting. Well, here we go. The producer, Phil Spector. This is off of, you're going to like this one, Ryan. The Phillies record label. Really?
Definitely.
Really? Walking in the Rain on one side. How Does It Feel on the other? It's the Ronettes.
Gold.
Yeah, it's Walking in the Rain was the hit. Is that right?
Yeah.
There's a price sticker on here, and I'm trying to see what it is. I can't see it. And by the way, if your last name is Bame and you're looking for your Ronette single, I've got it because your name is right there. I'm just waiting for somebody to actually send me an email saying, yeah, that's my record. Okay, here we go. Bell Records.
Another Philly record label.
Well, and we didn't plan this. I didn't know you were going to show up with your Philadelphia shirt on there. This is two-sided. I couldn't take my eyes off of you on one side. The other side is Step Inside Love. Cilla Black.
That will go in the old pile.
Now, bear with me. I thought I saw a name on here. Yeah. Step Inside Love, a very famous songwriting team from the 60s. Who do you think?
Since it's a Philly record label, I would go Gamble and Huff.
That's a good guess. Go across the pond.
England. Go ahead.
Lennon-McCartney.
Wow.
Lennon and McCartney, Step Inside Love, Bell Records. There's so much detail, on these 45s. You just never know what you're going to find.
Yeah, you just don't get that anymore now that everything's digital.
This may be the smoothest record surface I've ever felt in one of these episodes. It's off the Dot record label. Interesting. Okay. The Locket on one side, Speedy Gonzalez on the other, Pat Boone.
I actually like Speedy Gonzalez, so I'll put that in the gold pile.
Okay. Now, was that a cartoon, or what's the background on Speedy Gonzalez?
Yeah, that's about the cartoon mouse from Looney Tunes. He made a song about him, which
Okay.
now in today's day and age, they say would be banned from radio. So,
Well, if it was Looney Tunes, was Mel Blanc the voice of Speedy Gonzalez?
I'm pretty sure he was, yes.
Well, there you go. Well, that definitely warrants gold.
Great novelty record.
This is off the RCA Victor label. It's the same on both sides. It is the Ballad of the Green Berets by Sergeant Barry Sandler.
I like the record, but I would think it probably would wind up in the old pile, even though I like it.
Well, it's your choice if you like the record.
I know most people, if they hear it, they wouldn't be into it because it's kind of outdated, but
but in its time, it was a big hit. I remember.
yeah, it was a #1 hit.
Yeah, it's gold. We're,
gold.
we're not political here. We just enjoy music. Oh, that's the bottom line.
That works.
Okay, this one is off of Era Records. Donnie Brooks. Donnie Brooks is the artist. Do It For Me and Mission Bell.
Mission Bell would be the A side. I'd put that in gold.
Okay. I'm gonna have to check. You know what? I'm gonna have to check some of these out. I definitely remember this one. This is off Atlantic Records, and I learned something yesterday that I'll share here in a second. Atlantic Records, it's Rainy Day on one side. It is A Beautiful Morning on the other. Of course, that's the Rascals.
Definitely in the gold.
Yeah, it's a beautiful. That's the one that's got like, what do they call that? The bells.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Glockenspiel or something. I can't remember. Anyway,
I think that's what it's called. Yeah.
Right in the beginning, this cutout. I see that in some of the records and some of the other packages. I learned that meant that it was a closeout.
Okay.
Which seems weird because that was a hit record, as I recall.
Oh, yeah. Definitely. Big record in '68.
Were they the Young Rascals before they were the Rascals?
Yeah, they started out as the Young Rascals, then gradually flipped to just the Rascals.
Now this has got a number on it again. I'm wondering if it goes on a jukebox. World Artists label. I had to double check the name of the artist, Ryan, because I thought it was Bobby Darin. It's not. It's Darren Anna. Gonna Feel All Right. And on the other side, it's We Were Lovers.
Old.
Yeah. I'm not familiar with Darren Anna.
No, I can't say I am either.
Would it make sense that would be why that number's on there, you think?
Yeah, that makes sense to me. I would think it would be for a jukebox.
All right, here we go. Lori Records. Ray Adams is the artist. You Belong to My Heart. And Violetta. I think I've got that right. Violetta.
Old.
That looks like a 60s record label, doesn't it? It just kind of
Yeah,
it just kind of has that 60s look to it.
that was Dion's record label.
It was?
Yeah, all Dion's stuff was released on that with the Belmonts.
Oh, I think we got a good one here. Oh, yeah. This is off the Warner Brothers 7 Arts Records label. Second time this artist has appeared. It's Who Am I on one side and Don't Sleep in the Subway. Darling.
That's going gold.
Definitely. She was at the beginning of the British invasion, wasn't she?
Yeah. And she was one of the first.
Hey, we're getting down to our last handful of records here. Here's what's coming up. Once we get through all of the records, we're going to have our top shelf pick. That's our next mystery. That's where Ryan is going to pick his favorite. I'm going to pick my favorite. We're going to ask you to pick your favorite of the records that we've unveiled so far. Then Ryan's going to share a couple of mystery picks of his own. And then we're going to learn a little bit more about his show and how we can follow him. This is off United Artist. Nick Perito, The Green Leaves of Summer, and Jennifer.
I'd put that in old.
Yeah. Was there a song Green? There was a song Green Leaves of something, wasn't there?
Yeah, because when you said the title, I was like, title sounds familiar, but I can't place the record.
Yeah. Hey, you viewers, if you know, put it in the comments. Let us know. We are down to 4. These are all in sleeves, Ryan. Now, I learned this last time. I got to make sure that the record matches the sleeve, and it does. This is off of Parrot Records. Tom Jones, Without Love.
That's gold.
Yeah, gotta be. Without love, there is nothing at all. And on the other side, The Man Who Knows Too Much. I know some people that would question that if any man knows too much. That's a topic for a different time. Bobby Vinton again. See?
He just loves showing up.
Bobby, Memory Lane. There, I've said it again, is on one side. It's Mr. Lonely on the other. And whoever originally bought this in a sleeve paid a whopping $1.29.
Wow. And they got double gold. Both sides were a hit.
We got another gold. We are down to 2. This is off of the Epic record label. Don and the Good Times.
Don't think I've heard of them.
And It's So Good is on one side. I Could Be So Good to You is on the other. It's Don and the Good Times.
I'd put that in old.
Yeah. Again, it really looks 60-ish, doesn't it? It just, it's almost like that record label with the movie That Thing You Do.
Yeah. With Tom Hanks.
When she's selling them at the bar. All right, drum roll. We're down to our final one before we go through a list of all the gold and we come up with our top selects. I'm a little bit surprised by this one. 1, by the artist, and 2, I would have not put it in the 60s. I would have put it in the 50s. Sometimes things get thrown into different packages. It looks like it's got 4 songs on it. Rockabye Your Baby with a Dixie melody. I'm Sitting on Top of the World by Myself. I've Got the World on a String. It is the daddy of Gary Lewis.
I would put him in old.
Yeah, look at the detail on this thing, though. I mean, that's almost like an album cover.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm just curious if there's a date on it somewhere. I still think it's in the 50s. I may be wrong. I'm a Gary Lewis and the Playboys kind of fan.
Yeah, I
Uh,
like Gary.
yeah, I don't think I don't think he gets as much attention as he should. I think he's got a good catalog. Um, he was pre British invasion, right? Or
I
pretty
think
no, he was during the British invasion.
yeah, he was right in the thick of it.
Yeah, he kind of took on the British invasion. Um, really like his catalog. I'm going to put this in the old. Let's go through the gold.
All right.
$4.99. What do you think? Here we go. We've got which one would you say is your top shelf pick from those?
It would have to probably be between the Ronettes and the Mindbenders.
This is the one by the Ronettes, of course, Phil Spector. They did they do Be My Baby?
Yeah, that was their big hit.
That was their big one. That I think peaked at number 2 or something and had
And then Jay
Ballad.
and the Americans covered this record right here.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, so it became a hit all over again.
I'm gonna go with the Mindbenders. A groovy kind of love. To me, that just has that whole 60s kind of vibe. So I'm gonna go with that one. Hey, viewers and listeners, what is your top shelf pick? Let us know in the comments. We really enjoy reading the comments, so please share your thoughts. Ryan, do you have just a couple of records that you would like to talk about?
Well, being from Philadelphia, even though we aren't the capital of Motown, to us here in Philly, we own Motown more than Detroit does because here in Philly, we would flip over the records and play the B-sides, and they became hits bigger than the A-sides. For instance, one of my all-time favorites is Smokey and the Miracles' Would I Love You. Was not a hit nationally, but here in Philadelphia, that is voted as one of the top oldies records every year because we made it a hit. The Four Tops, I Got a Feeling's another great one. How that never became a national hit, I don't know, but that's a really great song and one of the biggest dance records at any club you go to in Philly, South Jersey. That's always being played on an oldies night.
And you got your start working with your dad. Your dad had a mobile DJ.
I was with him pretty much my whole life, going out with him, helping him out, packing up the car, unloading, hooking everything up, filling in when he needed to talk to the customers or had to go to the bathroom or whatever. I would take over because back then everything was vinyl.
Yeah.
And the vinyl's about 2.5, 3 minutes, and then you're in trouble. So I would just take over and start DJing.
Well, you're hauling in those records, unlike today. You know, you can just almost show up with an iPhone and some speakers and kind of pull it off. About how many records did you take to an event? I'm just curious.
My Lord, my dad, he built his own custom record box of 45s. I would say it's probably like I would say it's half the size of a room. Luckily, he put wheels on it, but this thing was huge. I was trying to lift it onto a U-Haul truck. It was a lot of crazy times.
Where do we listen to you, Ryan? Tell us about what you've got going on.
Well, I host 2 syndicated shows. I do 60s at 6 Monday through Thursdays from 6 to 7 p.m. That's on 3 radio stations. The main flagship home is a radio station called Time 102.9, WTYM. It's down in Florida. It's an internet station. He was the first one to pick up the show. And then I had a couple other stations, they were interested, so we went syndicated with it. So I do it there. I'm also on Jersey Shore's Good Time Oldies. And then I'm on Radiocast FM. So if anyone misses the show during the week, they can catch up on weekends because Radiocast FM plays it on weekends. And then I also host a syndicated show that kind of pays tribute to the old jam and oldies format. Play a lot of Motown, soul, and we go back from the 50s up until some songs of today.
Ryan, I'm going to ask for you to go ahead and put some links. Give me some information on links so that I can include that in the video description so people can follow you, can check you out, and stay in contact and learn more about the music, because you clearly have a lot of insight and passion for the music. Viewers, if you like what you're hearing, not only follow Ryan, but please consider liking this episode, subscribing to the channel. Most importantly, comment. Share your thoughts, share your suggestions, share your top shelf pick, and anything that you've picked up from this episode. And join us again by watching one of the episodes that you're going to be seeing featured right now. Thanks again, Ryan.
No problem, Phil. Thank you.